Representative Ilhan Omar was previously attacked by right-wingers when she called Trump advisor Stephen Miller exactly what he is, a white supremacist. Now, following a lengthy expose published by the Southern Poverty Law Center, which included 900 emails that Stephen Miller had written to Breitbart, and those emails were mostly incredibly racist, Ilhan Omar is basically calling all those right-wingers out and saying, told ya. So let's go back and share the original tweet that led to backlash against her. So on April 8th, Representative Omar had tweeted, Stephen Miller is a white nationalist. The fact that he still has influence on policy and political appointments is an outrage. Now that is not, in my opinion, a controversial tweet, but of course right-wingers did find it controversial, and they even went so far as to call her a anti-Semitic person for making that claim. Now, before we get to that, let's go to God Saad. So he responded to it, and this tweet did not age well. He is a white nationalist in the same way you are an Islamophobe, Ilhan. Is there no end to how idiotic and divisive you can be? Is there no limit to your dark heart? It's funny hearing that or reading that from that guy, right?
Yeah.
So. Didn't age well, and a lot of people are now sharing the link to the Southern Poverty Law Center story. And again, they have emails that were leaked to them by a former writer and editor at Breitbart, okay? So let me give you more. Figures on the right who pointed out that Miller is Jewish accused the freshman representative of anti-Semitism. So again, I want to just remind you, this is what the piece by the Southern Poverty Law Center was titled, Stephen Miller's affinity for white nationalism revealed in leaked emails. And to give you more details, after reviewing more than 900 emails Miller sent to editors of the conservative site Breitbart between 2015 and 2016, the report's writer noted he had been, quote, unable to find any examples of Miller writing sympathetically or even in neutral tones about any person who is non-white or foreign-born.
One of the things that amuses me about right-wingers is they're always like, there's no racism. You guys are playing the race card. There's no anti-Semitism.
It's identity politics. That's what this is. Just identity politics. So what is it exactly when Miller bases all of his policy ideas on other people's identity and how much he hates that identity? Is that not identity politics? Right. It's only identity politics to them when you want to fight for the disenfranchised or people who are, in this case, under the Trump administration, getting killed in cages at the border.
Yeah, so, but the minute they're in a little bit of trouble, right? Or in the past, like just yesterday with the story Candace Owens in the Post came, tyt.com/join to get the whole Young Turks, which members do. So anyway, we did the story of Candace Owens who was like, oh, there's no racism. When I was growing up, before Obama, there was no racism in this country. Get past the fact that that's the most absurd thing that anybody's ever heard. Turns out she had sued earlier in her career for racism, that somebody was racist to her, right? So, and here, Stephen Miller, hateful, and their defense is you can't criticize him because he's Jewish. Meanwhile, Trump said about the Nazis marching in Charlottesville, well, they're just very fine people on both sides. I mean, Nazi, not Nazi, I can't quite tell, right?
Yeah.
But the minute they're challenged, identity politics, don't criticize him, he's Jewish. Identity politics. Okay, yeah, that's what we thought.
Can we also just address how stupid it is when people note that the racist offender in a story is either a person of color or a person who has a religious identity that's been persecuted in the past? I don't care, right? All sorts of people, regardless of their background, can be racist. Yeah. Period.
And it's the oldest right-wing trick in the book, okay? Find a minority shield. So whether it's Dave Rubin in the LGBT community, Candace Owens, the black community, every one of these guys, right? And then you trot them out to go and say, oh yeah, now the real problem is blacks and gays and Latinos and Jews, and those are the problems. I mean, I'm here to tell you, man. I mean, my people are the problem. Where's the check? Where's the check? On Muslims, are you kidding me? They got a whole bucket full of sellouts.
Yeah, that's true.
Who are like, oh, I gotta tell you something, man. I'm Muslim. They still pretend to be Muslim, right? They're like, oh, I'm Muslim, and I gotta tell you, my people are the worst. Totally irredeemable. Love violence. Fox is like, oh, so good, warms the heart, right?
Look, there's a lot of money in that grift. We know that.
Absolutely, but I want to say one more thing about Stephen Miller and the rest of them. Islamophobia is a gateway drug to more racism. A lot of these guys start out with like, the Palestinians, they live in the sewers, that's it, and bomb things. Oh, right, that was Ben Shapiro. Okay, and they're like, the Palestinians, we should occupy them, right? Hey, how about we do a two-state solution so Israel's lives in peace and harmony? No, why? Muslims, I hate Muslims. Then it leads to, well, if I hate Muslims, why don't I hate more people? Okay, yeah. I'm serious, it's a gateway drug, and then it opens up all of a sudden Latinos, and they're like, what did we ever do? and black folks, and it goes on until ironically it comes full circle to Charlottesville, and then there's guys chanting the Jews will not replace us, right?
Well, remember, shortly after Trump got elected, I remember there was a story that we had a lot of fun reporting on because there was a rift within the alt-right community because there were the alt-righters who were okay with the Jewish community, and then there were those who hated the Jewish community. And so like that led to this division within like the most deplorable members of American society. And the infighting was amazing.
No, that was one of my favorite stories where they're like, the larger group is like, okay, look, we should hate everyone but the Jews. And then there was a splinter group who were like, come on, dude, let's not discriminate. Let's also hate the Jews. And then they started fighting amongst each other, et cetera. And now, last thing about the full circle, then Ilhan Omar, remember all the charges of anti-Semitism, including this one, right? And then she went and supported Bernie Sanders for president. They're like, oh yeah, that's what a person who would hate Jews would do. Make sure that a Jewish person is the most powerful person on the planet. What?
So AOC also jumped in on this conversation, and she actually started a petition in order to get Stephen Miller to resign. So let's go to that. Stephen Miller, Trump's architect of mass human rights abuses at the border, including child separation and detention camps with child fatalities, has been exposed as a bona fide white nationalist. He's still at the White House shaping US immigration policy. Miller must resign now. And she later tweeted with a link to a petition that she started. And so just check that out real quick. Alex Koch, by the way, shared it. And she retweeted it saying, each day we allow a white nationalist to be in charge of US immigration policy is a day where thousands of children and families' lives are in danger. This year alone, under Miller's direction, the US has put almost 70,000 children in custody.
It's great, I love it. I want to fight in every way that we can. But I'm also amused by the idea that Trump would see the petition and be like, oh, he's a very strong racist. Ooh, I like that. A lot of people signed a petition saying he's really good at racism. Why would I take him away? He's out of central casting.
I know, but pressure has worked in the past. I mean, remember all of the crooked Trump administration officials who were misusing taxpayer money for their own personal gain, personal use. There was enough pressure by the media and other lawmakers that the administration relented and they finally got rid of those people. So
yeah, no, you never know. Hey, look, I 100% in favor of fighting. Keep going, keep going.